By the end of this day, you will either be covered in glory or buried in the mud. You wake before the sun, in a cold stone chamber high in your lord's castle. You are a knight, bound by honor, sworn to your lord, and ready to die for both. But becoming a knight was not a gift. It was earned through years of brutal training. You began as a page at just 7 years old, serving in a noble household. Then as a squire, you learned to fight, to ride, and to serve a knight. Only after proving your courage were you finally knighted. Now you rise, and your long day of duty begins. First, you wash your face and say your morning prayers. Faith is central to your life. A true knight serves God as well as his lord. You eat a simple breakfast of bread, cheese, and watered-down ale. Then it is time for the ritual that defines you, putting on your armor. Your squire arrives to help, for no knight can armor himself alone. First comes the padded gambeson to cushion the heavy steel. Then the chainmail, then the steel plate, piece by heavy piece. Your full suit of armor weighs as much as a small child. Yet it is so well balanced that you can run, jump, and even mount a horse. The armor is worth a fortune, more than most peasants earn in a lifetime. Your squire hands you your sword, the symbol of your knighthood. You slide it into its scabbard at your side. It feels like part of you. You take up your shield, painted with your family coat of arms. These colors tell everyone who you are and which house you serve. Fully armed, you head down to the courtyard to train. A knight must train every single day. Skill fades without practice. You practice sword strikes against a wooden post called the pell. You train with the lance, the mace, and the battle axe as well. Then you turn to the most important partner of all, your warhorse. Your destrier is a mighty warhorse, trained for the chaos of battle. He is worth more than most men will ever own. You care for him like family. You mount up and practice riding and charging with your lance. After training, you report to your lord in the great hall. You serve a powerful noble, and your loyalty to him is your sacred duty. In return for your service, he grants you land, income, and protection. This bond between lord and knight is the heart of the feudal world. But being a knight is about more than fighting. It is a code of honor. This code is called chivalry, and it guides everything you do. You must be brave, loyal, and courteous, and protect the weak. You must defend the church, honor women, and keep your sworn word. Of course, not every knight lived up to this ideal. Some were cruel and greedy, using their power to bully the weak. But you strive to be the ideal, a knight of true honor. Part of your duty is to keep order across your lord's lands. You ride out to settle disputes and protect the villagers. The common folk bow to you, both in respect and in fear. You hold great power over their lives, and with it, great responsibility. But today is no ordinary day. Today, there is a great tournament. Knights from across the land gather to test their skill and win glory. The greatest event of all is the joust, a duel on horseback. Crowds fill the stands, nobles and peasants alike, roaring with excitement. You mount your warhorse and lower your visor. The crowd falls silent. You grip your lance and stare down your opponent across the field. The signal is given. You spur your horse into a thundering charge. 2 tons of horse and steel race toward each other at full speed. The impact is thunderous. Lances shatter against shield and armor. You hold firm in your saddle as your opponent is thrown to the ground. The crowd erupts in cheers. You have won the joust. Victory brings honor, fame, and valuable prizes. A famous knight can become a legend, celebrated across the kingdom. But tournaments are also dangerous. Knights are sometimes badly hurt or killed. For a knight, even sport is a matter of life and death. But the glory of the tournament is soon interrupted by grim news. A rival lord has invaded your lord's lands. This means war. The tournament ends. Now the training and games become deadly real. You answer the call without hesitation. This is your true purpose. You join your lord's army, a force of knights, archers, and foot soldiers. Together you march toward the enemy, banners flying high. You reach the enemy on an open field. Both armies form their lines. As a knight, you form the heavy cavalry, the most feared force on the field. Your heart pounds beneath your steel. This is what you were made for. The horns sound, the order to charge is given. You spur your horse forward, joining a thundering wall of knights. The ground shakes as the cavalry slams into the enemy line. The battle erupts into chaos, steel ringing against steel. You fight from horseback, then on foot when your lance is gone. All your years of training now stand between you and death. The battle is brutal, a whirlwind of steel, dust, and noise. Around you, men fall. There is no room for fear, only action. Your heavy armor protects you from blows that would kill a common soldier. This is why knights dominate the battlefield. You are a walking fortress. But even a knight can fall if surrounded or unhorsed. Interestingly, in battle, a captured knight is often more valuable alive. Enemies may spare you, hoping to demand a rich ransom for your return. So knights often fought other knights with a strange, deadly courtesy. You fight on, defending your lord and your fellow knights. Slowly, the tide of battle begins to turn in your favor. The enemy line breaks. Their soldiers begin to flee the field. Your lord's forces have won the day. Victory is yours. You are exhausted, battered, and covered in mud, but you are alive. You look across the field and give thanks that you survived another battle. But victory always comes at a heavy cost. Many good men did not survive the battle. You honor the fallen. You gather the wounded and begin the long journey back to the castle. When you arrive, the whole castle celebrates the victory. Your lord praises your courage before all his court. That night, a great feast is held in the castle hall. Long tables overflow with roasted meat, bread, and flowing wine. Musicians play, and stories of the battle are told and retold. For one night, the horrors of war give way to warmth and celebration. But being a knight was expensive. Armor, horses, and weapons cost a fortune. Your income comes from the land granted to you by your lord. Peasants work your fields, and in return you protect them. This exchange of land, labor, and protection holds your whole world together. A knight was also expected to be cultured, not just a warrior. Many learned poetry, music, and the graceful manners of the court. The ideal knight balanced strength in battle with grace in the hall. The age of knights lasted for many centuries across medieval Europe. Some knights joined holy orders and fought in the Great Crusades. Orders like the Knights Templar became legendary warriors. They traveled thousands of miles to fight in distant holy lands. These warrior monks lived by strict vows of discipline and faith. Knights built and defended the great stone castles of the age. These fortresses could withstand sieges lasting months or even years. During a siege, knights defended the walls against catapults and armies. Warfare in your age was a constant part of life. But the age of the knight would not last forever. As gunpowder and firearms arrived, heavy armor became useless. A single gun could pierce the armor that took a lifetime to master. Slowly, the mounted knight faded from the battlefield. But the legend of the knight never died. Their code of honor and chivalry still inspires us to this day. As the feast winds down, you climb the stairs to your chamber. Your squire helps you remove your heavy armor, piece by piece. You place your sword by your bed, always within reach. You say your evening prayers, thankful to have survived another day. You think of the battle, the friends lost, and the glory earned. Tomorrow may bring peace or another call to war. But whatever comes, you will face it with honor and courage. This was a single day in the life of a medieval knight. A life of discipline, loyalty, faith, and honor. a life of privilege, but also of constant danger and duty. For nearly 1,000 years, knights shaped the history of Europe. They fought its wars, defended its castles, and served its kings. They became the ultimate symbol of the medieval age. Their armor fills our museums, and their tales fill our imaginations. Stories of knights, dragons, and quests still capture our hearts. The ideals of chivalry, honor, courage, and protecting the weak still inspire us. They remind us to stand for something greater than ourselves. Behind the shining armor was a real person, bound by duty and honor. A person who trained his whole life and risked it all for his beliefs. A person who lived and died by a code of honor. So the next time you picture a knight in shining armor, remember. Remember the discipline, the sacrifice, and the burden he carried. Remember that behind the legend was a human being just like you. A human who chose courage over fear and honor over comfort. That was the true meaning of knighthood. A path of steel, faith, and unwavering honor. The age of knights has passed, but their spirit lives on, teaching us to live with courage, honor, and purpose. For the legend of the knight will never truly fade. If you enjoyed stepping into history, subscribe for more unforgettable journeys into the past.